We're starting today's show by quoting Myrtle Fillmore, co founder of Unity, and her specific words on her discovery once she had the healing. I have made what seems to be a discovery. I was very sick. I had all the ills of mind and body that I could bear.
Medicine and doctors ceased to give me relief, and I was in despair until I found practical Christianity.
I affirmed my beliefs and I was healed. I did most of the healing myself because I wanted the understanding for future use. This is how I made what I call my discovery.
Life is simply a form of energy, and it has to be guided and directed in a person's body by his or her intelligence.
How do we communicate intelligence? By thinking and talking, of course.
Then it flashes upon me that I may talk to the life in every part of my body, and I had to do it just as I wanted.
I began to teach my body and got marvelous results. I told the life in my liver that it was not torpid or inert, but full of vigor and energy.
I told the life in my stomach that it was not weak or inefficient, but energetic, strong, and intelligent.
I told the life in my abdomen that it was no longer infested with ignorant ideas of disease, but there by myself and by my doctors, but it was all alive with the sweet, pure, wholesome energy of God.
I told my limbs that they were active and strong. I told my eyes that they did not see of themselves, but they have expressed the sight of a spirit, and that they were drawing on an unlimited source.
I told them that they were young eyes, clear, bright eyes, because the light of God shone through them. I told my heart that the pure love of Jesus Christ flowed in and through its beatings, and all the world felt its joyous pulsation.
I went to all the life centers in my body and I spoke words of truth to them, words of strength and power.
I asked their forgiveness for the foolish, ignorant course that I had pursued in the past when I had condemned them and called them weak, inefficient, and diseased.
I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on both silently and aloud, declaring words of truth until the organs respond.
And neither did I forget to tell them that they were free, unlimited spirit. I told them that they were no longer in bondage to the carnal mind, that they were not corruptible flesh, but centers
Of life and energy omnipresent.
Good morning, everyone, and please be welcome to Encuentro Espiritual English. I am RevAna, and this is Oswaldo Mora,
The smiling one.
and we are Unity Community of Light, Unity Comunidad de Luz. This is a bilingual ministry, a Unity ministry online. We bring Unity teachings in both Spanish and English. And as you know, we have launched our English Sunday program with this series on healing by Reverend Julie Johnson, that you've been hearing her story, her experiences, her teachings. And we have called that series Healing is Possible. Today, we are culminating the week of Thanksgiving, which is a big holiday here in the States, in Puerto Rico, and other places around the world that we We take one day, one weekend, and put all of our energy, hopefully, besides the shopping part, on recognizing how blessed we are. And we figured that part of this show today would be, or part of this series would be, and personally for me as a breast cancer survivor, to share some of my story. Right, Osvaldo?
Yes, after Julie's Reverend Julie Johnson programs and all that understanding, as at least all of these series that we've been working, it's been like, oh my gosh, what is this? How these things works? Because to tell you the truth, health it's never been my issue. I have other type of issues, but not related to health. And now working in this autumn or of health, it's like, oh my gosh, I really must be grateful because I never had this situation, and that's where I said, okay, what if we hear from you that because we've been interviewing Julie, knowing her case, but I said, hey, what about you? Because my gosh, knowing first knowing you, no, and then working with you all of these years that I guess it's like 4 years. Oh my gosh. And knowing that everything that let's say you share, it really happened to you, and that's okay. Let's hear from you. How is it that today we're gonna celebrate giving, Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
By being grateful. We're grateful to be alive.
Grateful to be alive. Grateful that I was able to heal from this serious type of cancer, and not only heal from the cancer, but the cancer marked a turning point in my life that was the culmination of the first part of my life as a businesswoman, as someone who worked full time in a family business in the same island that I was born and raised, to becoming, I was already a unity minister, but it was really like something I would do as a speaker part time every so often. But after I healed and moved to Raleigh, it was the beginning of the rest of my life, because I was given the opportunity of serving in Unity Church of the Triangle back in 2012. And it is my sincere belief that that move of leaving my island, of not being a businesswoman anymore in charge of a distribution business that was really demanding and cutthroat industry like consumer electronics, managing many employees, managing many accounts, managing key accounts like national accounts like Walmart, was really, really stressful atmosphere. And leaving that world, moving over here, and and joining this amazing unity of community was really key in keeping me healthy.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What came first? The feeling of you not belonging anymore there, or the news that you were with cancer?
No. You see, when I joined the family business back in 1987, okay, this is when I joined. Actually, I tell everybody I graduated one day, and 2 days later, I hopped into a plane with my dad to Chicago to a consumer electronic exhibition. And that until 2010, it was nonstop. Even I had babies and I would take a month off and still work. So it was very intense. And during those years, my inner conversation had always been, even from the from the onset. I told my dad, I'll be here a couple of years and then I'm off to my thing. But the 2 years became 23. And the more time was passing by, towards the end was this sense of restlessness that this is not mine to do any longer. But I was so caught up running this company, husband, brother, father, almost like relying on me, three small kids, one with special needs. And it was like I was caught up there, caught there, Yeah, caught up. And always dreaming about this other life.
So let's say that.
So when the diagnosis came, I was like, I had already told my dad that I needed a break, so I was out of the business temporarily. But it was like okay, take your year off. After 23 years, take a year off. You go once a month. I had set up the systems and the teams and everything, but the diagnosis was like, okay, you have to move on.
When my father-in-law was diagnosed with cancer, skin cancer, my wife started studying about cancer and many other things. And she told me something that I remember. And she said, Osvaldo, what provokes cancer in a person? And I said, no, I didn't have that information yet.
Right.
And she said, 10 years at least of the same feeling of frustration in something specific. So then she realized that in her father's case was that he didn't like the work that he had. He didn't like the boss, he didn't like the person, he didn't like the environment, but he has to because he needed the money. So, of course, can you imagine 10 years of being generating all of these chemicals in the body and the resistance and all of that? And that's why I asked you that, what came first? But you were completely clear that you just wanted to be there for 2 years, because your calling was an spiritual calling.
Right. Exactly.
Holy cow. So that's the thing, how, because when I recreate in my mind all the details of your story, it's like, oh my gosh, you were almost able to fake cancer,
To get out of here.
to be here, because there is no other reason that they will allow you to go out, just because you don't want to be there.
It was not a real option. I don't know why this business that I was running was founded by my dad in 1962. It had become an identity for my father. So it was like he had the three children and the businesses.
Yeah.
And he was very attached. And a system had been created in which I was really running it. So me saying I'm out of here was really rocking everybody's boats. But it was really, I mean, it turned out to be a great blessing. Nonetheless, going through, hearing you got cancer, and that you have to go through all this treatment that is not fun, the chemotherapy and the surgery and radiation, it's not easy. It's not, and at least I had the unity background, and with that unity background of being aware of how your mind, your thinking can affect your actual body, and that you have ways of approaching or perceiving the circumstance. I was in the best position to see that in spite of the appearance, even though it was a really serious type of cancer, was had already spread and everything, internally I'm like, okay, this is a wake-up call for all of us, and I'm sure that I will heal. I only got scared once because they found some spots in the liver that turned out to be nothing, but only at that moment I really got to the place of contemplating the possibility of dying. And I made peace with that. It's like, if it's my time, of course, as a mom, you think of your children, but it's like, I have to trust and letting it be.
Um, what I'm seeing here is that it was a moment of weakness, but most of the time you felt that you were in charge.
Yes. I felt really a sincere connection with the presence. And because I, in my heart, I wanted to get out so bad. In a way, it felt like this might be my door out. There's this, it was a combination of, wow, cancer and having to go through all of this, but there's this underlying, like, this might be the way that you go to where you need to go. And I was not completely sure. I at the time I was thinking that I wanted to create a school that had a spiritual foundation, like with unity principles, and also serve kids with special disabilities. So I had that vision, and besides being like a regular minister, I had that vision, but things just in jail didn't work out, and the best option was for me to come to Raleigh, to the Triangle, to Duke, and that made sense when we decided on moving and relocating. It was the best option for my kids, and then this is where I got hired at Unity Triangle, and my new life started. I remember feeling the joy of finally doing something that fills my soul, and how that felt compared to the last years in the business, where the inner conversation was like, I hate, this is not it. When am I gonna get out of here?
You know that while I'm paying attention to your words, what comes to my mind is this book from Paolo Coelho, is The Alchemist.
Yeah,
And what he says is that at the moment that you take a new action, automatically the whole universe just confabulates in your
yeah,
favor and puts the things that you need. And in my experience, when I took this path 100% of the time, 24/7, I remember that everything started working in different ways.
yes,
And I said, "Holy, this is something that I can see how the universe move the pieces."
yeah,
And that's what we call synchronicity. Because if I'm thinking, once RevAna thinks about this, and then also I would love to hear now about the list that you create,
I with it.
giving thanks,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you know that is an example of how synchronicity works. Because everybody were working as part of the universe in its plan for you to
yes,
be in the place that you are now.
yeah. So um I had this affirmation that was like my core affirmation through the process. Everything is working for my highest good. Um, and I wasn't clear how, what, where we go, what was my new life was going to be about, but I was in the process of healing and all of that. And I tried to make it a place in which I could practice all the teachings that I have been studying for so many years and I had preached about as a unity minister. And we know about the power of affirmations, and we know about the power of silence, and we know about the power of forgiveness, and we know about the power of gratitude. So, it was Valentine's Day. I made it I made it like a dynamic for me, which I listed in my closest people, and I sent them like homemade cards to just express how much I love them, right? And then, as I was sharing with you, in one of my appointments at with the Duke doctor, normally they would see me on time, but this particular day they took longer. And I always carry, I always have a journal with me, but this particular period the journal was with me the whole time. And I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and I'm guided to start doing a gratitude exercise for everything and everybody through my cancer journey. So, of course, initially I started thanking family members, friends, then went into doctors, and I kept going to the point where I would give thanks for the person that had mopped the floor in that waiting room, or the secretary that took my medical insurance card, or the neighbors of my sister who in their church prayed for me. And I went on and on and on, until I got called to go in. And by the time I went in into the doctor's office, I think it was like 258 people to read. And then it was like my energy. I remember walking in and just feeling this almost altered state of consciousness. The doctor was really nice, but I don't think she was too cariñosa, not too expressive in physically, but we hugged, and I realized that, imagine it had been like an hour and a half of just gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And I think all of that kept me in a place where I miraculously, my tumor was reduced to zero when it was my time for surgery. Thank God I had a lumpectomy. And when they did the sonogram before going into the surgery, the sonogram was already saying I was cancer free. When they did the pathology of all the tissue, it was clear, no evidence of cancer. So it was like really the best case scenario, even though the diagnosis, I remember when I first met the doctor at Duke, she said to me, I'm going to pray for you. I remember thinking, oh my God, I'm in trouble,
Yeah.
because it was a really high risk. But nothing is bigger than God, Oswaldo. Nothing. And when we just allow that to be, and we open up and we trust, and not every time was a happy camper. I was not. During the times of my chemo days, I was not happy. I would get depressed. But I realized I would speak to my body and say, hey, we're getting the chemicals back. Everybody behave, because this is going to be temporary. The cells that have forgotten about who they were are coming back. So hang in there. And I would, maybe friends would come over and sit with me just to be there. Wouldn't say much because you don't even want to speak to anybody. So all of that created an experience, a healing experience.
Uh, you know that we recognize in RevAna's background a very good capacity of managing things. So, how you manage, you see all of this, um, asking your friends to come and see there. It's like I really can see that you were in charge, knowing that it's not all in your hands, but knowing who you are, because it's like I see like an rescue operation, rescue
Yes.
mission. Let's bring RevAna to the world where she belongs, because as I said, I cannot imagine this world without you in it
Qué
as
lindo. Thank you.
an spiritual being. And at the same time that you were fighting with all of those things in your life, I can say that I was doing another stops. So
You were in your own process, so eventually we could.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's because today I want to thank for being the one that I am, thanks to all the things that I thought they were able to kill me. Because I may not have health situations, but I had another type of situation
right.
that also is confronting and
Made you stronger.
exactly. So you see, it's like today we can see each other as not as not as a survivors,
Yeah.
but as spiritual beings that we are able to see life from this, like your father used to say, from the high
From
point.
the height,
De la
the
terraza.
ceilings, yeah, la azotea. Yeah, and I must say, like we started with Myrtle's um, words, and one of the things that rereading that I had already read that years ago and many times, but this time I really noticed when she says that she opened up to a- all of this special discovery because she knew it was going to be something she could use in her future.
Definitely.
And there was this always notion in me as I was healing and learning that whatever I was acquiring was meant to be used. And I have, like the first member of our ministry, Letty. I met Letty like in 2012, just as I had just joined the Unity Triangle, and she had just been diagnosed with breast cancer too. And because I knew the people, Susan G. Komen, Letty got sent to me. And I remember she had just met me and she just ran to my arms and I hugged her. And I remember these words to this day, and she does remember too. I said, I could feel the authority and the command in me. It was not something sweet to say just to make you feel better. I said, I feel your pain, but I am not going to make you a victim because you're not. This experience can be the experience that will shift your life forever. And I'm holding that for you in the midst of your pain and your fear and your worry. God is, and you are. And there's no place where God's grace is not. And this will be, if you make it so, if you allow it to be, it's going to be the greatest experience for you. And believe me, I'm aware that not everybody
Yeah, definitely.
conquers that. And we trust that it is whatever process they had to go through. But I can see it, and I have seen it in me and many others, that when you really, and it's one of the first few points we talked about in the initial part of the series, the 9 things that they discovered that if people would do, they would, there's evidence that they have healed. If you really have a life purpose, a reason for being here, and you give yourself to expanding yourself spiritually and open up, and like we've been saying all through this series, open up to love, open up to faith, being willing to be in the unknown, being willing that you are a consciousness and that consciousness needs to be protecting, acting from a place of empowerment. I just see healing happening. It's just in whichever way it might be. And I am grateful today more than ever that not only that I have healed, but that I have that sense of connection and empowerment that transcending the cancer gave me.
Listening to your words, what comes to me is that we may, you know, commit some mistakes during our period of life, but we always must remember that we are not a mistake.
We're not.
So once the thing is sometimes it's hard for people to transcend the guilt and they identified with the mistakes in their lives. So that's hard to process. But when I recognize, because here comes, the contradiction. I don't feel that I am a divine creation, but I am.
Right.
You see, in some point, because now I can see it, it's like, oh wow, RevAna managed her illness in the way that she always knew how it's gonna be in your deeper soul, in your superconsciousness. So great, it's fantastic that we are able to talk about these stories and being grateful for that.
So, wow, it's been a great dialogue here today. And even though Julie wasn't here, but we'll continue next week with this series on healing is possible. We really appreciate you sharing this sacred space with Oswaldo and I. If you want to know more about our ministry, please check us out. Go visit www unitycoml.org, and let us know if there's any way we can help you and serve you. Have a beautiful rest of the week. Namaste.
Blessings.
So let's start by just being quiet and present. And of course, connecting with the breath. Inhaling several times, holding, and exhaling and releasing. You may do it on your own several times. And you will notice that the more you do it, the more relaxed you become. And the better space you are creating so that we may go within to that place of perfect peace. Just stay present to the breath. And of course, to this moment. You might want to do a scan of your body temple from head to toe and see if there's any particular place in your body that is too stressed or has pain, or there might be a sense of disharmony. Just try to locate it. It could be in the shoulders, maybe your head, or a particular muscle. As you identify that, just breathe in into that space. Bringing the energy of life, the prana energy to that particular place in your body. And just feel how the breath restores it, soothes it, alleviates it, and brings it back to an experience of wellness and relaxation and peace. Connect with every other part of your body temple. And just express gratitude for all the efforts that each of your organs perform during the day to allow you to do the work that you do and to run the activities of the day. Just send this vibration of gratitude, thanking the heart, thanking the lungs, thanking all of your digestive system, and nervous system, the bones, just send that vibe of gratitude all throughout your body temple, letting them know that you acknowledge their worth, their effort, the way they love you by functioning the best way they can. And through the breath and through the power of intention, you send vibes of love and gratitude all throughout your bodies. And you feel also the gratitude coming from your cells and tissues and organs and systems that feel loved, feel acknowledged, feel seen. From head to toe, currents of love and appreciation are flowing through freely, restoring and harmonizing, restoring and harmonizing, and bringing everybody back to their natural state of being. As you continue to breathe in and breathe out, the body relaxes even more. And there's this looseness to every muscle. There's nothing tight. Everything is loose and free in your body temple. And just stay there with me and everyone else. Coming to the center of your heart, the center of your power, the center of your true power. and seeing how as you come to this center and you're relaxing and allowing and centering, that there is this magnificent harmonizing effect. It's almost as if all the organs are now paying attention to your words of power and truth. It doesn't matter what they experienced during the day and how out of center they could have become. We are conscientiously bringing them back to the center. That center of wholeness and perfection that we are. The more relaxed that we feel, the more centered we get, or we are, and the more peace we experience. Affirm with me in your heart, what I really want is the peace of God. The peace of God is my main objective. And I can experience it now. I can allow it to be now. Everything in connection, everything in harmony, coming centered by me being anchored in the heart space, the space of true power. And it's an intrusive thought seems to come in and break that sense of peace. I don't fight it. I don't resist it. I let it be. And because I am so centered and in harmony with my divine self, they quiet. They dissolve in this energy of peace that has taken over. And that is taking over now, more and more. The peace of God is my peace. The love of God is my love. The light of God is my light. I am one with the One. I am one with all of life. Nothing can disturb me. Nothing can hurt me. Nothing can bother me. For I am anchored in my center of power. Just keep breathing. Keep being. Keep allowing. And that power that you and I are will take over. Is ready to be revealed in you in a newer way. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold, exhale, relax. Attention is on the breath and the power of these words that are leading you to your sense of power. If again there's a recurring thought that feels like it's breaking in and disrupting the peace, you allow it to be, and you speak to that idea from your source of power, saying, "You have no power over me. Only the power I can give you. And I choose at this very moment to give power to the presence and the activity, God the Good, that is really the only power there is." And as I align with that power now, the power that will reassure me that the sun will come out tomorrow, the power that makes an embryo develop into baby and human being, the power that makes a seed become a flower, that perfect intelligence, it's in me. It has all the capacity to deal with whatever I might be dealing with. And more. I might not feel it fully right now, or I might. It might feel like a big threat. But again, through the breath, and my awareness, I know that that presence and that power, God the good, omnipotent, omnipresent, is handling that situation. And my role is just to surrender to this power and allow this power to show me its magnificence. And I open now without resistance, in full trust, and give it up. Literally imagine that that situation is going into this golden box that is being handed to the one presence. And the one presence it's already working itself out as love, as healing, as supply. And as you sense it, as you start believing it is so, you experience even more peace. And it's wonderful. It's truly, truly wonderful that every aspect of our being, it's in harmony with the truth of our inner power. And it's like we become like giants, looking at the situation like a little ant. Whereas before, in our anxiousness, anxiety, or our sense of separation, whatever situation seemed like the giant, and we were like the ant. But through the power of prayer and meditation, as we become in tune with truth, and we welcome deeper levels of the presence, everything shifts. And it's shifting now. Not only for you, but for those who you might be praying for this night, or wherever this meditation might show up for you. Do you feel it? More of God and less of me. More light and less darkness. more love and less fear, more health and less illness. Feel the shifting effect that comes from walking into this inner place and get centered. Beautifully centered. Inhale, exhale. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Unity COML, Unity Comunidad de Luz, Community of Light. It's a ministry of love, big commitment to help everyone who's ready explore principles of truth that can really bring healing, prosperity, and all the good that God always has in store for each one of us. If you feel truly in your heart that we are serving you and that you feel that you are expanding in every way and would love to give back and make sure that others are benefited just as well, we highly encourage you to donate. Do a love offering based on the love, appreciation, gratitude, and joy that you are receiving from the source to transform your life. Visit us at unitycoml.org and do what is yours to do from that place that knows that there is abundance for all.
As always say, asking is giving, and that's how we support our ministry. You need our help, and everything goes together.
Divine love, through you, through us, blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And so it is.
So it is.
Amen.